Okay, so I showed you how to do a column which was a 4" by 3" by 1000mm long column, and here it is. I've opened it up again in Revit, and that's an example of producing something which is something that's fixed that you don't want to change. You can, however, use something called parametrics in Revit, which way you can embed information into this. So for instance, the length of the column could be both adjustable and then actually recorded in a schedule. So I'm going to show you how to produce these parameters that they can then be put into a schedule. So let's start off. This is the column. It should be a meter long. So if we use this measure tool and then we highlight, you can just see it highlights in blue the top. So select that, and then the bottom is 10mm off the reference level. So make sure you collect that rather than the reference level. And you can see that's 1000mm, and then you can decide how far away you put the dimensions. Notice how these little leading lines showing you where these things don't touch the actual drawing, so they don't actually stop you seeing the actual structure itself. So this is 1000mm. Double escape. So what you can do now is you can click in here, and then you can look at the top here and you can make this a parameter. So you're creating a parameter. Now the first time you do this, you go through quite a long process of setting up a parameter file. But after that, you continue using that file. So I'll show you how to use this thing first. If you click on that create parameter, it'll say, do you want this to be a family parameter that only is attached to the family and it can't appear in schedules or tags, or make it shared? So this can be shared into projects, families, and exported and appear in schedules, which is what we want. So we want to be able to schedule this information. So that's that. And if you say whether this is type or instance, whether it's everything of this type or whether it's just this instance, keep that on type for this one. If you press select now, it'll give you a message saying there's no shared parameter file. Do you want to choose one now? So if you say yes, then rather than choosing one, if you're working in industry, you'll probably have these files already set up. You can create one. So I'm going to create one. It's just a text file, so it's very basic, and you can choose where it is. You can see an example of one that I've done before. So I'll create just one called parameter file. Spell it right. So I've now got something which is in my path here, and it's called that parameter file. So I'm creating that. That's that one. I'm saving it. Sorry. So now I can now go in and create a group. So now this new has appeared. Before it was grayed out. So I can create a group within this. So this could be anything you want. This could just be properties, or it could be structural properties, or whatever group name if you wanted to put parameters in certain folders. So I'm just going to keep this very high level and just put properties. So that could be virtually anything, whether it's mass or length. So I press OK there. You'll notice now that this has highlighted, it's rather than being grayed out. So you've got a parameter file, groups within the file, and then parameters within groups within the file. So if you start with this here and put new, you can now start to say, this is the parameter, this is the 1000mm I'm now naming. So this one I'll put in length of column, because that's now starting to make sense. It's an actual parameter this time. You can look at what the discipline is. I'll just keep them as common, but you might be splitting these into different disciplines depending on where you're working and what you're doing. And then here, text, and then look down here to see what's relevant. So for here, length or dimension or something would be suitable. So length is good. And then press OK. And then you've done that. So now press OK. And then you're going from here and press OK. Press OK again. And now you can see this is called length of column 1000mm. And if you click on here, you can see its value. You could actually change this if you wanted to and say, actually, I want one that's 900, and it would automatically change your drawing. So this is the power of parameters. Once you've set a particular shape, so for instance a column where you might want lots of different columns of different lengths, you can add this parameter, and then you could do file save as and save this model as, rather than column 4x3 by 1000, you could do 4x3 by 900 for instance. But I don't want that. I'm happy with it being 1000. I'm just showing you the principle. You could, if you went onto the top view, you could do this the same for any of these dimensions. So you could do it for the major dimensions. But for columns, you'd normally call them out, it's called, where you'd say this is a 4x3 and give the reference for this column or this particular beam, and then you just give its length. So for the purpose of this one, I'm just using this as a parameter. So very basically, that's how to add a parameter, and then you could change this. There's different ways of changing it. You can see that this 1000 appears in the table here, so you could go into here and change values as well. But it's easier if you can just do it individually in here. Okay, have a go at that.